So the idea of forming your own company, okay, can be difficult if you have no clue where to start. Now in this video, we're going to talk about some of the things that you need to pay attention to if you are going to form, your own company. If you are new here, welcome to Zerite Network. And in this segment, we talk about starting and running your business. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification bell to be notified each time we upload a new video. So what is incorporation? Well, incorporation is just a fancy word for the process by which a new or existing business registers as a company. The final detail of that will obviously depend on the laws in your country. Now, in my country, that is actually going to be guided by the Companies Act. So incorporation is just a way of turning your idea or turning your business into a registered company. Who can incorporate a company? The general answer is that one or more legal persons, can incorporate a company. Usually this happens by either subscribing to the Memorandum of Association or by basically just having their name in the Memorandum of Association during the process. So yeah, I said a legal person. So the question is, who exactly is a legal person? A person is an entity recognized by law as having existence accompanied by certain rights, such as name, can own property, can sue or can be sued, etc. Now, such include natural person, that is you and I, or artificial person, like companies. Now, if you look at a company like Google, Google, right? As early as 2015, their parent company became Alphabet Inc., which is a company that also has other companies in the areas of science projects, driverless cars, fiber optics. These guys just have their hand in pretty much everything. So this is an example of a company forming other companies. Okay? Which types of companies are available? Now, for liability and other legal obligations, you always have to know the kind of company you want to form. Look, if you really don't care about your legal liability, if you don't care about what the law says, you might as well as just go and start a sole proprietor. Now, that is not a company. That is just, it's a business, It's a business in which you and the business are the same thing. But if you really care about legal obligations, if you really care about the, separate legal persons or separate identity that exists between you and the company, then you have to know the type of company you want to form. Now, there are a number of companies that you could choose from. The first one is private company limited by shares. So in this type of company, the relationship between the company, the company itself, and the members is limited by shares. Here's what I mean. When generating capital to run a company, you can use your own money. In this case, that will be known as share capital. Or you can use other people's money. In this case, that will be known as debt capital. So if you use your own money, and by your own money I mean your money or other members' money, then you are going to give shares in that company, which means you're going to have shareholders. A share is a unit of capital, meaning that members put their money in the company and, they own a share of that company, roughly speaking. So in case of the private company limited by shares, the members' relationship to the company is limited to their shares. Here's an example. So let's say I have 100 shares in your company. Now the question is whether or not I've fully paid for these shares. So if I have 100 shares in your company and I've only paid for like 70 shares, so my liability towards that company, what I owe the company is whatever the 30 shares are worth. And the company relationship towards me is limited to whatever the 70 shares are worth or whatever rights come with the 70 shares. Now if I've paid for the 100 shares, no, I don't owe the company anything. Now, as far as the company is concerned, its relationship towards me is limited to whatever the 100 shares are going to be worth in the given market. So that is what we mean by limited by shares. That is in the case of a private company. The other thing about private company that you also have to know, private company limited by shares, is that they cannot raise money by offering their shares for sale to the public as a way of generating share capital. So if they're going to raise money through sale of their shares, they have to do it in private. Now, the other one, unlimited companies. Well, these kind of companies, the liability of the members towards the company and that of the members and that of the company towards the members is unlimited. So this is not something that would advise you to do. I really wouldn't advise you to start unlimited company. It's kind of pointless, really. So, you don't want that. So you can go with the private company limited by shares. Now, number 3, public limited companies. So just like in private companies limited by shares, these companies, okay, the relationship between the company and the members is also limited to the shares that the members own, or that the company, the shares that the member own. The thing that makes this one special, however, is that unlike in a public company, unlike in private companies limited by shares, the number of members in this company is there is no maximum. Because with private company limited by shares, in my country, for instance, you are limited to 50 members. In public companies, okay, there is no maximum. Although you have a minimum number of members you can have. Okay, like in my country, the minimum is 7 with no maximum. With private companies, the minimum is 2, the maximum is 50. So, here's the other thing that is cool about this company is that they can raise money by offering their shares to sell to the public, either through the process of initial public offer, IPO, or sequential equity offer, or what is called rights issue. So, of course, there are other rules regarding how you run such companies, like, directors and blah, blah, blah. But the point is, most people just start their companies as a private company limited by shares, and then their exit strategy is going to be through the IPO, where the company turns public. But, so that's the difference, okay? Now, the other thing that the other type of company that you can choose from is number 4, I believe, companies limited by guarantee. So in this company, we don't really have shareholders. What we have are members who are guarantors. The liability of a member is limited to the amount they agree to contribute to the company's asset if it is liquidated. So I'll repeat that. In these companies, we don't have shareholders. What we have guarantors. So the members are the guarantors, okay? And so yeah, you can start that kind of company. And the 5th one are foreign companies. So a foreign company is just any company with any company whose branch is registered in another country. Now, up to that bit regarding choosing which company you want to start, the thing is to remember that all these things have advantages and they have disadvantages. So you always have to kind of see which one outweighs the other. For instance, a private company limited by shares. The advantage is that, you and the company are not the same thing, okay? And you can also raise money through selling your shares or offering your shares to private members. But that means that you have shareholders and you have obligation to these shareholders, which is not the same thing with a company that is limited by guarantee. So you're going to have to, kind of weigh that and see which one you want to choose from. Of course, at this point, you are most likely to choose a private company limited by shares because those are the easiest. Now let's move on. Number 4, what documents are required to incorporate a company? You see, when you're going to start a company, there are certain things that you need to sort of do. There are documents that you need to present. Paperwork, basically. So these documents will include, number 1, company registration form, which you can pick from the relevant authorities, okay, in your countries. Number 2, application for reservation of company name. Next, memorandum of association. Now, a memorandum of association, it's a document that explains what the company does to the public, okay? It has a number of things like the name clause, the capital clause, the object clause. I mean, it contains a lot of things, and that's another reason for you to subscribe to this channel, because in future we'll be talking about, or I'll put out a video talking about what you can expect in a memorandum of association. So next, particulars of directors and secretaries, statement of nominal capital, articles of association, which, unlike the memorandum of association, is going to explain what the company does, but within the company. See, the memorandum communicates to the outside, to the public, okay? An article of association communicates within the company. Things like directors, okay? Classes of shares, secretaries, appointment of auditors, all that stuff. Basically, it guides, think of it as the user manual for the company. And also you'll need to present a notification of residential address of directors and secretaries. So once you've submitted these documents, okay, to the registrar of companies in your country or whatever office that handles that, and it has been approved, you'll be issued with a certificate of incorporation, which now means that your company is in existence, okay? So what does a certificate of incorporation state? A certificate of incorporation which, as I've said, is the proof that your company is now registered and is recognized by the government, or in this case by the state, it will show the following: the name and registration of the company, the date of incorporation, whether it's limited or unlimited, and if it is limited, whether it's limited by shares or limited by guarantee, and finally, whether it's a private or a public company. Now, the certificate of incorporation must have the following, okay? It has to be signed, sealed, and authenticated by the registrar of companies. So, if you've done that, it simply means that now you have your company. So, anyway, go ahead, do your research, decide on which company you want to have, and then register your company. Again, remember, this part, starting and running a business, okay, we're talking about all aspects to do with starting and running a business. So make sure you subscribe. And well, if you'd like to be part of the conversation, you can join our Facebook group. Link is in the video description. I'm Moses, and I'll see you in the next video.